Hello everyone. So depression. I've done one or two videos on depression, but it keeps coming up regularly, understandably, with clients in the comments on this channel. You'll see a lot of people going, yes, but what about the depressive thoughts? So I wanted to unpack in here because a lot of people with anxiety, when their mood starts to drop, they start to get anxious about feeling depressed, understandably. But again, if you're bewildered by what depression is, then it's very difficult to deal with it or recover from it, the same as anxiety. So this video is a deep dive into depression, and it's for anyone who's suffering depression because it's a loaded term. The word itself is very depressing. I feel so depressed, I feel heavy. We hear a lot about it. We hear a lot about what it is. So even at the thought of feeling depressed, even if we're not technically depressed, then it can feel depressing. It can feel hard, we can feel very low, and we can actually feel anxious about it. A lot of people who are feeling depressed and are worried about it are actually anxious, but it's the thought of being depressed that is the current trigger that they misinterpret for being depressed. But all that aside, I encourage everyone to drop the term depression and replace it with depletion. I think Claire Weekes might have coined this term. So Claire Weekes is a doctor, Australian doctor, who back in the 60s helped from a nervous system understanding, help people recover from anxiety, but she also talks about depletion. And in my view, depression is simply that, it's just depletion. If we give it any more credit than that, then it indeed becomes depressing to think about. If we think it's something that's fixed, there's something wrong with my brain, it's something that I am beholden to, it's just the way I'm wired, all the same things that I talk about with anxiety, then again, it feels very fixed. It feels like we've got to give it special treatment. We have to be careful of it. We don't want to slip back into depression because it's so scary, it's so difficult. Now, I don't want to leave you with the impression that the suffering that comes with anxiety or the low mood or when you're feeling depleted is absolutely real. So we don't want to pretend that you can just be depleted and feel absolutely happy about it. So the suffering is real, as I always say. So it's important to acknowledge that. The reason why I have this whole channel is because I know the suffering is real. It sucks big time. It's hellish at times. So we want to be real about it. So please reach out for support to those around you as you need. But in order to recover from it, we really want to understand it so we're not bewildered by it. It is depressing feeling depleted if you don't know why, and it feels scary, and if you don't know why you're suffering from it. So depletion, again, I'm replacing depression with depletion simply because it's the trough of energy, when energy kind of leaves the system after a period of anxiety or stress. Whether you noticed you're stressed or not, you noticed you were feeling anxious, it's where anxiety or stress has some energy, adrenaline, stress hormones, cortisol in the system. So it's a form of higher energy. Now, it makes you feel scared, worried, fearful, but depletion is sort of the trough in the cycle. Depletion is the trough in the cycle when we have the absence of energy and we might feel low. It might feel really hard to get up, to think a thought, to think positive, to even the idea of moving forward with your day, getting out of bed, going to work, having to make breakfast, having to sort the kids out, having to study. Even just make a cup of tea can feel very hard, but that is just depletion. It's just when the nervous system's tired from all the stress that's accumulated on the system and it's just fatigued. So you might be feeling mentally fatigued. Again, this is the 4 fatigues that Claire Weekes talks about, where you're just tired, it's hard to get your thinking straight. Emotionally fatigued, maybe you've been up and down from an anxiety perspective, lots of adrenaline in the system. So you're emotionally fatigued. You're physically fatigued, so this constant adrenaline surging, panic, slow drip of adrenaline leaves you and you're just feeling physically depleted. Again, unpleasant, but normal in the circumstances. And sometimes, suffering is not easy, so it all feels a bit too much. So you're feeling the spiritual fatigue, which some people would say is depression, but again, it's just another form of depletion, and it's normal in the circumstances. Now, the thing is, with depression, just like anxiety, it will always pass. You will always get relief from how you feel, the less we fight it. So the same principles of recovery from anxiety apply to any feelings of depletion. The example I give is that if you are feeling highly depleted in bed, feeling very low, and someone yelled fire, you would instantly get up and run out of the house without feeling it, without thinking about it. So you would have that energy to summon, which kind of proves that depression, or the feeling of depletion, is also a bluff, just like anxiety is. Now, it doesn't mean the suffering is not real, it doesn't mean the feelings of feeling low aren't actually there, but what we can do in order to recover from it, we start to allow those feelings and not take them so seriously. We start to see our thoughts about it. When we start to worry about it, I would argue that's anxiety coming back in. Doesn't really matter what the words are. If we start to worry about it, if we're feeling depleted and we don't worry about it, then who cares? It doesn't matter. We start to worry about it. We think this will never get better. We worry about other things. It never getting any better, us being stuck in this state, etc. That's all part of the anxiety depletion bluff game. So we have to not take any of those thoughts seriously. Use the floating practices as best we can to allow these cycles of depletion or anxiety to shift in their own time. Now, of course, with anxiety, we slow down. With depression, or depletion, I should say, we might just slowly get up. And even though we feel low and awful, we're just going to slowly make a cup of coffee, slowly walk into the kitchen, drop the shoulders. If we start to worry about being depleted, if we start to worry about our low energy, if we start to panic or think that we don't have enough energy, we can't possibly do it, drop the shoulders, stomach muscles loose, slowly get up and go for a walk to the kitchen. Slowly drink a cup of tea. We use the same tools to bring ourselves back to the moment when we're starting to be involved in the feelings of depletion, low mood, depression, whatever you want to call it. Because you are just depleted. Your nervous system's tired. As highly unpleasant as it is, it's not serious, and it will always shift. You'll always get some relief. You'll feel a bit of energy return for a minute or two, for half an hour, half a day, a couple of days, weeks, whatever it is. So the more we start to understand this and not take the feeling so seriously and use all the practices to allow it, while we get up and keep moving as best we can, we practice with the worries about feeling depleted or depression the same way we would with anxiety. Allow it, go loose, not serious, unpleasant. Then we can start to move forward. But the key to it is not to give depressive feelings that you've labeled as such any more special treatment than we would anxiety, because if you do, you're already on the back foot with it, and you're already in the bluff as part of the bluff. So I hope that makes sense. I might do some specific practices that focus on low mood, just to help those who are experiencing that or experiencing the feelings of depletion. But the principles apply. It is no different. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm sure I will see you again very soon. Take care.